Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to TKR Live. I'm TKR Live. I'm TKR Video Central, and TKR Chart Zone, and the Kirkham Report, of course, on the internet at thekirkhamreport.com. Welcome. Um, Starting this last week was a little bit nerve wracking for me. I'm not used to doing live streams, but I'm hoping that everybody will have fun that comes in and trying to pick a topic. I want to hear from you guys. So please get on the chat and let me know that you're here. And we hope that you will continue to enjoy what I have to offer. Today, I'm going to go through, I pulled a stack of albums that I consider to be either favorites, or in the case of two or three of them, they are what I would consider to be technically perfect pop albums. Um, this came up because I was thinking about it last week when I was doing Obscuria, and I mentioned on Friday, my Obscuria show, which is on 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, that that particular song came from my favorite album of all time, and it's one of just two or three albums that I consider technically perfect. For me, technically perfect means you brought together great production, great writing, great sound, great placement in the way that the album is put together. Um, and there aren't that many. I mean, I know people have, some people um, consider something like Sergeant Pepper by the Beatles or Abbey Road by the Beatles to be technically perfect. I like those albums, but I wouldn't consider them to be technically perfect. When I'm thinking perfect for me. Your mileage may vary. It's going to do that all the time. So I'm going to go through some of these albums. Let me know what you think of them. Um, Please feel free to comment. I got links to all the other stuff involved in the show notes. So please check out the show notes. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you can, support us with a Ko-Fi donation or on Patreon. It's going to be hopefully a lot of fun, and I hope you will enjoy checking things out. Now, that technically perfect album I mentioned, this has been at the top of my all-time favorite albums since I was a teenager. It's come close to being dislodged a couple of times, but truthfully, this is an album I listen to regularly. I never get sick of after almost 50 years, and one that is really technically perfect from the end, from the very beginning of the first notes on side one through the end of side two. And in this case, this one I pulled is my deluxe edition. Um, there's nothing better to me than this album, and this album is tops for me. It's come close to being dislodged. There's only one other album that ranks up there with it. I pulled that one too as a technically perfect pop album. Um, but in the end, this one always stays at the top. 1978's City to City by Jerry Rafferty. This is the deluxe reissue that came out in 2023. It is two records, not one. It's been stretched across three sides. Um, Amazing sound, amazing songs. Rafferty never really matched the 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 this release of this. It's on 180 orange colored vinyl with a sort of reproduction of the United Artists label that it came on, although I had the newer one with the cool colors and stuff. Um, this album contains his two biggest hits, Baker Street and Right Down the Line, along with the third single, Home and Dry, and the album hit Whatever's Written in Your Heart, plus a ton of other great songs. It made me a Jerry Rafferty fan for life, and I love the guy. I always have, and it's one of the best. If it is my all-time favorite album, and so we're talking 50 years ago in 2 years. I hope they come out with like a super. I mean, this might be one album I would buy a super expensive deluxe box set of because I adore Rafferty. I've got most of his other stuff too. He is just terrific. Don is here. Hello, Don. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, I imagine you guys got hit pretty bad up there in the Chicagoland. Not terrific. Not We're not getting as much as they thought we would get. They had us predicted for 2 to 4 inches today, and we have yet to get any. It's stayed mostly south of us. Um, what do you think of this, Don? You like City to City by Jerry Rafferty? I know you like a little bit of everything, so that's terrific. Rafferty never reached that height again. Um, his later albums were great too. Of course, we lost him in 2011. Wonderful artist, wonderful writer. His earlier work with Steeler's Wheel was great too. But there's nothing that can top this. Although there is one that's close, and I'll talk about that next. The one that comes close is a more recent album. It came out in 2003 originally, and and it was it hit at a time when I was really becoming a huge fan of this group, and every single song on the original album is amazing. It's put together in firstly in the most perfect order for the songs, um, and there isn't a bad song on the album. It didn't produce major hit singles, unfortunately. It had one pretty big hit and was their last really pretty big hit for several years. But um, there's nothing, I admit I love my boys. They're fantastic. And I've been a big, huge fan since they first hit major label releases in 1997. This is 2003, the deluxe edition that came out in 2024 of Underneath from Hanson. This is their third album. It contains their hit Penny and Me and several other singles that went nowhere, including the title track, which I think is the most technically crafted, perfect pop song ever written. It did jump over Baker Street to take that mark. Um, Taylor, Ike, and Zach produce some amazing music. This has been divided into 3 albums now. There's the first 2 albums are the content from the original album, including the hidden tracks, and the third album are unreleased demos and newly recorded versions of a couple of songs from the album. Um, and this starts off with "Strong Enough to Break," which is a song really about their troubles with IDJ Def Jam Island Records. When they signed a label, they were signed with Mercury, and then Mercury was bought out by IDJ, and IDJ didn't know what to do with them. This was the first album they released on 3CG, their own label, because IDJ turned it down and said, there's not a single on this album. There are executives I could name that are full of crap because they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to this album. This remains my all-time favorite Hanson album, and The Walk comes close, their 4th album. But for everything being technically perfect, that is it. Dawn, are you kidding me? Never heard City to City, huh? Well, fix that. It's on Spotify. It's on Amazon Music. It's a great album. If you like Rafferty, you'll love it. It's fantastic. -8 wind chill in Chicago area today. Yuck. I'm certainly glad we didn't get that. Those are the 2 that I consider technically perfect. The rest of these are favorites or close to it. The closest one to technically perfect, and I would actually give it a technically perfect rating too, is an album by an artist that virtually no one knows. He released an album in 2002 on Motown. I heard the video, watched the video on when we still had it, when it was still called Much Music USA. It's now Fuse. And it was coming from Canada. He's Canadian. The song was Canadian. It was released in the States by Motown, but it went absolutely nowhere. I loved the single and I bought the album, and the album blew me away. And um, if you like um, certain types of Motown style artists, you would love this guy. And the shame thing is, he's not in the business anymore. He's on the back end of the business. His name is Remy Shand, and this is his only full length album, The Way I Feel, released in 2002 on Motown here in the States. This is a 2023 vinyl reissue, which I am absolutely in awe of. Um, this dude is the real deal. He um, he has a vibe. It's what you might get if you mix Jamiroquai and Lenny Kravitz with some of the old school Smokey Robinson and such in it. And it comes out with some incredible music. I will recommend this album till the day I die. It's hard to find. It's on Spotify. I don't know if it's on Amazon Music. This is the deluxe edition. They added, I think, one, maybe two new tracks to side four when it came out on vinyl. It is still available on CD. I don't know if the vinyl was limited release. Again, it's on 180 gram vinyl, red vinyl there. And I believe the second album is blue. Let me double check here. It's been a while since I pulled the vinyl. I usually listen online when I listen because it's just easier. Yeah, it's blue, purple blue, sort of. Incredible blue-eyed soul from this guy, and he is. If you like Paul Young, you might like him too. I mean, this was my album of the year that year, and nobody has heard of him. He got out of the business. He released a couple of EPs on his own, which I did not know and have not been able to find right away. But he's gone into the technical end of the business now. He's doing engineering work, and he said he found that fascination while he was working on his album for Motown. And now he's working to make sound even better for those of us who listen and who are audiophiles. I'm not an audiophile as much as, say, Frank Landry over at Channel 33, or Melinda Murphy, or Bob Bradley might be, but I know what sounds good. This dude is real deal. If you like blue-eyed soul, if you like northern soul, if you like old school, if you like dance type stuff with Jamiroquai, you'll love this. He's very much worth listening to. I have a wide range of artists that I love. You guys know that. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, I like a little bit of everything. But sometimes I will find something that is not totally expected and fall in love with it too. And that's what happened with this guy. He first appeared in my life as a contestant on America's Got Talent in 2018 or 2019. He was 17 or 18 at the time. Now he's in his mid 20s. And he has signed a deal with CBS Masterworks, has one of the best albums of all time, and my number one album of 2024. He plays rock flamenco guitar, and he is amazing. This is Marcin, Dragon in Motion. Harmony, I always do that. Dragon in Harmony. Unfortunately, we had tickets to see him live, and we had to miss the concert because of something that happened, which sucks because I saw footage from the show and it was dynamite. The guy does everything himself. He's got a lot of detractors out there who are intent on trying to prove him as a fraud, and so far he's taken every one of them down. He plays everything: percussion, rhythm, backup, and lead, all on his own guitar. This album contains classical pieces. It contains his versions of Smells Like Teen Spirit, Cry Me a River. Um, it is amazing. My pal Dawn, I turned her onto it. I've turned a number of people onto this album. Marcin, his last name is Patrolek, if I'm not mistaken. He's from Poland originally. Um, Unbelievable. Look up Marcin or Marcin Music, I think is the name of his YouTube channel. He will blow you away. And this album has been in constant rotation since it came out in September of 2024. And he is headed back into the studio this spring for a new album. And he's got earlier self released stuff as well. This is really something special to me. And I always will think it that way. Talking about all time favorite albums, I talked about Canson. Um, Everyone also knows I'm a major Carpenters fan. I grew up with the Carpenters, Karen and Richard Carpenter, doing their music as usual. Starting from the very beginning, I was 6, I think, when Close to You came out and turned them into stars. And I have every one of their albums that were released in America. I have a few imports, not many. I'm not a completist unless it's something that has a track I don't have, and then I'll try to get it. I have Karen's solo album. I have Richard's solo albums. Um, this is my favorite Carpenters album, and people are often surprised because it's number one. It's their shortest album. It contains 8 full-length songs and 2 bookends, but it also contains some of my favorite music by them. This is 1975's Horizon. This is the OG with the flap opening in the back. I can get it to open so I can pop it up. Um, this is the album that contained Please Mr. Postman, which was actually a hit nearly 6 months earlier. Only Yesterday and Solitaire came off this album. Karen's incredible reading of Desperado, which had been a hit twice the previous 2 years by the Eagles and by Linda Ronstadt, and Love Me for What I Am, which is possibly my favorite unreleased potential single, along with Happy. Happy is my all time favorite Carpenters album track or flip side. That song should have been an A side. They used it as the B side of Only Yesterday. I think that was a mistake. And Only Yesterday is my favorite song by them overall. But this, like I said, this is the OG. And back then, you got a portrait and lyrics. This one does not have a custom sleeve, a custom label, just the usual A&M label. But um, as far as I'm concerned, and as many other people, including my pal Don, and a few other people on the internet and in the vinyl community are concerned. Oh, sorry about that. I'm always banging my mic because of the way I have things set up here. Um, there is nobody better than Karen. There's a lady out there named Tori Holob, Holob, I think it is, that does some incredible impressions that sound so much like Karen, it's scary. She is amazing. I think Karen would be flattered by her work. Um, Everybody knows the tragic story of Karen Carpenter. She was 32 when she lost her life to anorexia nervosa in 1983. Um, she will always be my favorite female singer. I have a lot of great female singers. Nobody can touch Karen Carpenter, and Horizon is my favorite Carpenter's album. Um, as I said, and I've talked about this, I'm on to a little bit of everything. And one of those little bits of everything are film scores. I love good film scores. I like bad film scores sometimes, like Miami Connection, but that's not really a score. Um, there are 2 technically perfect film scores that I love and I've talked about. There's a third, but I couldn't. It's misplaced somewhere. Um, these 2 are amazing. Again, along with the third one, which is Mark Knopfler's Cal from 1985. These two never go out of rotation. They're always handy on my Spotify. I got them on my computer. I have CDs. I have vinyl. I unfortunately did not get the Record Store Day reissue of the second one I'm going to talk about, but I did get the reissue of the first one. I am a huge Star Trek fan, and Star Trek: The Motion Picture from 1979 may not be the best Star Trek film, but Jerry Goldsmith's score is freaking incredible. Um, the title of the title track from the movie is best known as the theme from Star Trek: The Next Generation. I don't know why they didn't use the theme they wrote for that, but this is the OG from 1979. This was the first score album I ever bought myself. I had the Star Wars album that was given to me as a gift. Um, Great pictures from the film. And of course, it is on Columbia Records. Um, it made me a lifelong fan of most of Jerry Goldsmith's work. I love damn near everything I've ever heard by the man. Another one he does from a movie that didn't get good reviews that I love was Explorers from 1985 or 86. A couple of years ago, Enjoy the Ride released this. This is the deluxe version of this. It has several extra tracks and gloriously beautiful gatefold picture of the Enterprise. And the performance is, of course, by the Hollywood Studio Symphony, who recorded the original album as well, and custom labels. I don't normally buy reissues. You know, if I buy a reissue that I already have the OG of, I am a huge fan of it. City to City is one of those. This is another one. In fact, I got so excited I accidentally bought two. So I have an unopened one of these two. But film scores. I mean, Star Wars is great. I love Star Wars. I love a lot of the disaster movies. I'm an immense disaster film buff, and I love the scores from Earthquake and Airport 75 and Airport and all those. But none of them come close to Star Trek: The Motion Picture. This remains an all-time favorite. The other one, which I'm sad that I missed out on the Record Store Day reissue that last year. I tried. Believe me, I freaking tried. 8 different stores I went to trying to find it, but it was so limited that I had no prayer. And I don't do Record Store Day. I do it online. I have to wait till the next day. I don't want to bother standing outside. I'm also paranoid about germs and stuff because of COVID and stuff. But I just don't enjoy crowds, and so I do all my stuff online. I had no prayer of getting this. Now I could get it on the secondary market. It's running about $120. But I have the OG and I have the CD, so I'm cool with that. I wouldn't say no if I got the chance to open up to another one, that copy, but I'm not. It's not something I'm desperately looking for, because I already have the OG of 1984's The Neverending Story. Incredible, incredible score from Klaus Doldinger, who we lost last year, and Giorgio Moroder, featuring Lamal's title track at the very beginning. Moroder does side 1, Doldinger side 2. Amazing movie, amazing music from an amazing movie. And I've seen the movie. I freaked Kim out. She had never seen it when we first met, and so I showed it to her, and the end of it kind of freaks her out. It's one of those movies that will always be in my perfect movie list, and the score is also there. 1984's The Neverending Story. Incredible music. Dawn, favorite album is Rod Stewart's Every Picture Tells a Story. I am not sure which album that is. That's the album with Tonight's the Night, isn't it? Let me pull up my Wikipedia real quick. and see which one that is. No, that's Maggie May and those. Okay. Um, I have not heard that all the way through, so I'll make you a deal. I'll listen to that one and review it, and you listen to City and let me know what you think of it. I'll make you a deal. I'll add that to my list because I am reviewing albums, or will be reviewing albums, on the Kirkham Report when it gets back this coming week. I hope. Didn't come back yesterday because of some technical issues. Um, I'm going to be reviewing stuff, and I really um, enjoy one of them I've done so far, and I got more. So I'll add you to the list on. I will put that on there and listen to it all the way through. Um, Let me see. What else did I pull here? Um, this guy, Don will be happy. It takes a lot for an artist to invade my psyche so much that I'm obsessed with them. Um, that's only happened a few times in my life. Hanson, Def Leppard, Carpenters, another one I'll talk about in a few minutes. This guy, and a few others. I had never heard of him. No, I don't think most people outside of Iceland had never heard of him until 2020 when he was selected to represent his country at the Eurovision Song Contest. And of course, it was canceled. But Daddy Freyr has a very big part of my life. I have loved this guy ever since. This is his 2024 album, I Made an Album. It includes all new material, both of the other songs from Eurovision 2020's Think About Things and 2021's 10 Years are on the EP that came out before this. But this includes Thank You, Moves to Make, both of which at #1 on the Kirkham Report, a ton of other great stuff. He has a new album coming out in the summertime. I can't wait for that. I've missed him 3 times. He's been to Boston. I've missed him. This is a perfect example, excuse me, of someone who has yet to have a chart hit on Billboard's Hot 100 and yet sells out tours all over America because they know him from the internet. Daddy has never had a hit. Think About Things went viral, and it did hit the viral world downloads list, but it did not chart in America on the Hot 100. None of the Eurovision songs have it recently, except for Duncan Lawrence or Laurence and Rosalind. Even the ones that did well, like Daddy. Incredible album. He's an incredible artist, and if you're not familiar with him, he's synth pop with a slight. He's got tinges of Weird Al in the way he writes stuff, and I adore this man's music. I will be a fan forever. This is from, like I said, 2024, I believe. I Made an Album. The new album will be back, and oh, you stupid thing! Wait a minute, I gotta fix my camera. Pull out, please. This is the problem with using this new camera. It's not supposed to do that. It's set not to do that, and it does it anyway. So let me see. Move over to the image. Come on. I may not be able to fix it because it's on camo and I can't get into camo while I have the thing up. Sorry about that. All right, let's try. I know one of these things has to fix it. I just got to figure out which one. I'm still playing around with the camera, so yeah, I know. Thank you. Nope, that didn't fix it either. Come on. Nope, helpless. Anyway, well, so we'll just do this then if I can get it to pull back a little. No, that's not going to work either. All right, so In any case, those are great songs. And I don't know why it did that. And that just really, really irritates me that I can't control this camera on its own control thing. This is what I'm learning about live streaming as we go along. Um, yeah, that's occupied, so that's not working. Oh, here we go. There we go. I knew it was somewhere. Um, Sorry about all that. Live streaming is wonderful, isn't it? Um, Next album on the list. Yeah, I know Don loves Dottie. I know we've talked about him before. He is great. Thank you, Don. Another rat that invaded my psyche with their very first hit single in 2016, 2015, and I've stayed with is the gentleman that's the leader of this band. Um, and if you're a Puritan, close your eyes for a second. If you're not, uh, deal with it. This is what is just an all-time favorite album to me, and the album before it, which is the same cover but purple, is the same way. This, I'm gonna put my hands over the boobies. This is Lucas Graham. This is the Pink album from 2023. Um, this is also a copy from. I got this through Norway, iTunes, and iMusic in Norway, so I could get the extra track on the album. This album has the same cover, and it gets bumped as nasty because it's got boobies on it, and it's like what? Um, this album featured some of my favorite songs of him of all time, and all of them hit number one on my Kirkham Report charts. And Lucas Forchhammer, who is the lead singer, principal songwriter of Lucas Graham, is amazing. I named him to my top 4 vocal Mount Rushmore a few years ago, along with Taylor Hanson, Karen Carpenter, and Stacey Lattisaw. I adore his voice. The man has this inherent ability of making me cry. Almost every song makes me cry. This one in particular has One on One, which closes out the album on side 2. I can show that because it's not, the boobies aren't there. One on One, the first time I heard it, I was gone. He does that to me. He writes great music, the emotion in his voice. He has perfect pitch. He started as a child actor back in Denmark. When he was 2, he was a baby in several teen detective movies. And then he got out of that and got into music, and we're all better for it. Lucas, love your stuff. That album is fantastic. So is the Purple album, which is the same cover, only purple, right before it, that has a number of things. And he's got a number of things he's only done digitally, like home movies with Mickey Guyton, which is just amazing. The last album I've grabbed and that I want to talk about is another amazing singer who never got any attention from radio or any other television. Again, probably because he was a talent show guy. And I mean, unless it's American Idol, not a lot of them have had major success. We haven't seen a lot of success from the singers who have topped, America's Got Talent or even Star Search back in the day. Sam Harris, who won the first season, grazed the top 40 with his debut album. Mostly he's been on Broadway. This guy is amazing. He won the one and only season of ABC's Rising Star in 2014. And he is just incredible. This is his only major label release. It came, he actually switched labels after landing a recording contract with the show. He moved labels to release this album, and it's phenomenal. This is 2018's I'm Not Like Everyone Else from Jesse Kench. Jesse Kench was 20 years old when he won Rising Star. He's now in his early 30s, and he has fought his way back from a brain tumor, which he had was diagnosed with in 2018, right after the album came out. He fought his way back. He's doing new music. He's got 2 albums of new stuff on Spotify and Amazon. One is an album of covers, the other original stuff, and he's been putting out original singles. This guy's voice is freaking amazing. It is so powerful. And I mean, I knew from the minute I saw him on the debut episode of Rising Star, I knew he was going to win the competition. He was just that damn good. He's remained friends with the 4 people that were associated with that show: host Josh Groban and judges Brad Paisley, Kesha, and Ludacris. He has worked with all 4 of them. Um, Josh, in fact, when I featured Jesse a couple years ago on the Kirkham Report as an artist you should know, um, I showed footage of his triumphant stage return after his brain tumor treatments. He played one of his songs off this album um, for a live crowd at Josh's concert on Long Island. It was so good to see him back on the stage because it hit without warning. The tumor, he first noticed some numbing in his hands. He's a guitarist as well as a singer. And that led to the diagnosis. And thankfully, it appears to be in remission. He is working on his career again. I wish he'd go on tour. I'd love to see him live. He's never been to Boston as far as I know, and I keep track of that stuff. Jesse Kench's I'm Not Like Anyone Else is, and not like everybody else, is a phenomenal album. It's available, as I said, streaming. It's available on CD and also on vinyl because Jesse himself is a big vinyl fan. It is worth checking out. All of these albums are worth checking out. I'm sure there are others I could go into. I didn't grab anything by Def Leppard, who's the 3rd member of my trinity, along with Carpenters and Hanson. But Def Leppard, I tend to like the album that nobody else likes, 1992's Adrenalize. I mean, I love Hysteria and Pyromania too, and all their stuff. I've got most of it. I've skipped a couple of live albums. I got to get one of these days. But I know there was a vinyl community talk show about how bad Adrenalize was a few weeks ago. I don't agree with that. That album is phenomenally good, particularly Let's Get Rocked, which spent a whopping 6 weeks at #1 on the Kirkham Report charts back in '92. Because I never got sick of the album, and I still don't. There are oddball things that I'm an oddball collector. I have spoken of some of them on various videos I've done for either my show or for contests. I have, I mean, there's close to 2,000 albums in this tiny room, and a lot of it I've amassed just since the pandemic. But most of the crazy stuff I have came along when I was younger. I was a huge Zoom fan as a kid. I have several albums from the various cast members of that show. I have the Electric Company Kids album that won a Grammy for Best Children's Recording in 1971. It's not in the best of shape. Neither is the Zoom album. I'd love to get like pristine copies, but I'm not actively looking either. I could find them. Playgrounds, I did actually buy from a Discogs collector. Playgrounds was an album released by the first cast of Zoom. If you're my age, that would and you remember Zoom, that would be Joe, Kenny, Nancy, Nina, John, Tommy, and Tracy? No, Tracy was second season. They recorded an album after they left the show, and I picked that up from a Discog seller in Amherst, and it's in terrific shape and sounds great. And I have, like I said, I'm going to be doing a new show. I hope to start it in February, probably February 1st. That's going to highlight all of my vinyl albums. I was inspired to do this by my friend Richard McCook over in the UK, who did one of those last year and made me realize, I should share because I have a lot of weird stuff in my collection, and people will be amazed that I have such a weird, wide breadth of likes and tolerances. The only thing I don't really tolerate well is opera. I like some, and I'm not a huge rap fan, but I have my rap and hip hop acts I do like. Um, and I like a lot of foreign language stuff. I have over a dozen albums by Menudo in my collection. I'm a big fan, and Menudo solo members as well. Robbie Rosa, Johnny Lozada, Ray Reyes. Well, that's Progetto M, which is Renee, Johnny, and Ray, and Xavier on the first album. Um, I have a lot of Luis Miguel too, but I have music in Spanish, French, Italian, Japanese, Slovenian, and yes, that's directly a result of Eurovision. Um, a few other ones too, I'm pretty sure, and of course English, of course. um, but I don't speak a word of those other languages. I'll look up what they mean in on Google Translate. If there's no translation, like I know the proper translation of the song known as Sukiyaki in the Western world. It's actually I'd have to pull it up to say it, try and say it. I don't want to butcher it. Q Sakamoto's 1960 Japanese 1962 American hit. Um, the hits that have happened before, after it, by A Taste of Honey and 4 p.m. are original lyrics with the same theme, but they don't translate the Japanese. A version recorded by Bobby Caldwell does come close to translating the actual lyrics. That one's from Bobby's 2003 album. Love that song. I also have that in Dutch on a single that I bought from Adam at Record Crate a few years ago. Um, oh yeah, German and Dutch. So I have those two languages too. French. I said French, I think. Um, I love that stuff. Don's not a fan of rap and hip hop. Don, I'm not either for the most part. I like certain acts. I'm a huge Eminem fan. I like a kid named Sonny Soljack, who I talked about on my year-end show. He's a skateboarder. He's also a musician. Incredible hip hop music coming out from him. Um, there's other ones I like on a hit or miss basis, but nothing I would buy. DC Talk, I love them. Years ago, um, there were other limited hip hop acts that I like, and of course, a lot of the hip hop nowadays is mixed with dance music. So you're hearing a lot of it. The Sonny Soljack stuff is kind of hip hop with a dance beat. I always like that kind of stuff. But I don't dig a lot of it. So you're not alone in that sentiment. I'm not a big rap and hip hop fan. I like some of it. Um, Mostly I consider myself a pop guy. I do like hair metal. I do like some hard rock. I have limited, trying to figure out a nice way to put this. Yeah. Excuse me. I have limited tolerance for country music. I grew up around it, so I can tune it in and out because my grandma and grandpa and all of her kids, except my mom, were huge country fans. My mom liked it too, but about like me. I don't go for the old school country. I'm not a big fan of Hank Williams Sr. I'm not a big fan of any of that stuff from that era. I am the countrypolitan era. I love Dolly Parton. I love Tammy Wynette. I love Len Anderson. I love Reba McEntire, who is kind of a throwback to old school, but she has new school sound and values. Um, there's not a lot of country male acts I like other than Glenn Campbell and a couple of others. John Denver, I don't consider country. I consider him folk. I love John Denver. There's um, a lot of great stuff there too. Um, so R&B, I love classic soul R&B from the late 60s through the mid 80s. And when I talk about R&B, I'm talking about um I mean, I'm not that familiar with the soul charts. I have the books and I know a lot of it crossed over, but most of mine were crossover hits that I love. And that includes a lot of the disco stuff, but it also includes oh god, I'm so sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning suddenly. It also includes the later stuff by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles and Smokey's solo stuff. The stylistics, I adore the stylistics. Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose never had a bad single. Um, I even like real hardcore soul from James Brown. I love his funk soul. I like Funkadelic, Parliament Funkadelic. Um, Rick James to some extent, and all the smooth crooner style people I love. Like Peebo Bryson is great. Donny Hathaway was great. I love those two. Al Green, oh Lord, Al Green was perfect. Um, I love that kind of stuff too. I grew up in the '70s. If you haven't seen or heard AM '70s, this is the songs I heard when I was growing up. AM '70s also not back until next week. So I'm having production problems right now. I'm glad this is a live stream because I don't have to worry about my production system. Um, but um, I do tend to go for the '70s stuff. And now that we're getting into that period where, you know, we've hit the point where oh, I should have grabbed that album too. Afternoon Delight by Starline Vocal Band is 50 years old this year. Um um I I'm realizing that when I was little, I feel terrible now because when 50s music came back big after American Graffiti in the early 70s, and my mom would go, "Oh, I remember this song. It was on the radio when I was a little girl." And I'd go, "Look, God, Mom, that was ancient, wasn't it?" I'm sure that hurt her feelings to no end. She always laughed it off. But I mean, at the time, those songs were less than 20 years old. And now I look back and I'm still listening to that. Well, Saturday Night Disco Party is almost, it's all mostly 70s and early 80s with a few things from the late 80s and early 90s thrown in. But it's mostly classic stuff from, Thelma Houston, the Andrea True Connection, um, the Miracles after Smokey Robinson. I love that stuff too. I love the '70s music. It's my kind of stuff. Me too. Dawn, you and my other Dawn friend, Dawn in Costa Rica, she's also a huge Motown fan. And Motown, um, for me, Motown, I never really, I was born too late to be in the era of Motown. I was into pop music. Everybody around me was when I was a small child, we lived in small towns, and the kids around me that my mom knew were into the Monkees, the Beatles, the Doors. Um, so I never heard a lot of Motown till later, but I love the Supremes, love Smokey Robinson, Diana Ross, what a voice. People from that era were fine. And also the wall of sound created by the now um, late and possibly good to be late Phil Spector, who was not a good person, but who did incredible work in the theater and in the studio. Some of the stuff he produced in the '60s just blows my mind. Um, Although I'm not a fan of what he did for the Beatles. Long and Winding Road is a better song without the wall of sound. But I love all that kind of stuff. So I'm open for everything. And every kind of album I have out there could be a little bit different, and it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. This is what I'm listening to. Now, there's a lot I have on vinyl I can't get online. If I want to listen to the Flash Beagle soundtrack, yes, I do have the Flash Beagle soundtrack. Um, I have to pull out the album because I haven't been able to find it online. I can watch the special on Apple TV. It's Flash Beagle Charlie Brown, but I'm sorry, I bought that album. I was in my 20s when I bought that album. So that shows you how messed up my love for music is. But if I want to listen to that, I got to pull out the album. A lot of times, if I like something current and I want to hear something, I'll pull it up on Spotify rather than bringing out the album, because I figure I pay for Spotify every month. I pay for um, e-music too, but I usually use it to download. Unless the artist is on Bandcamp, and then I'll listen on the Bandcamp site. But um, I've been getting a lot of stuff off of Bandcamp since becoming a part of the vinyl community. I really, I had bought some stuff from Pledge Music before they went under. Most of it was people who had appeared on AGT or Rising Star or a number of other shows. But I also did get, when I lost my drive, I lost most of the Pledge Music stuff that I didn't have on CD. And most of it I did have on CD, with the exception of the catalog of stuff I bought from Dweezil Zappa. That was digital only. And I lost it. And of course, Pledge Music went belly up in 2017 or 2019. So, and the same thing happened with Crates and Grant Yaki's music. I did finally get the album of that. Um, I find people on Bandcamp all the time. I've ordered some stuff from Bandcamp that I've ordered thanks to people in the vinyl community like Carlson, who recommended First Boy on the Moon, and Michael Christensen. Michael Christensen is an amazing, amazing musician. He's a member of the vinyl community and a vinyl record fan himself. I've had the pleasure of corresponding with him. Hi, if you see this, Michael. Love him. I went back and bought every album he did off there. Love his music. He is this avant-garde experimental musician that does guitar, keyboards, a lot of it. I'm a Satriani fan. I'm a John Tesh fan, Yanni fan. So I love keyboards and guitar. And he meshes it all together in these ethereal, almost not quite, I wouldn't call them ambient because they are mostly up tempo. Really amazing songs. Another guy on Spotify that does that is Jack Anderson. Jack Anderson is a former member of the band Calpurnia, which you may have heard me talk about before. Calpurnia was the band fronted by Finn Wolfhard that also included some amazing musicians besides Wolfhard, who I gave my best album to last year. Malcolm Craig, whose new album as Mousy I'll be reviewing on this coming week's Kirkham Report. Last year's release by Ayla Tesler Mabe. She has a new album coming out too. She's amazing. And Jack was their bassist, and he is doing ambient music now and has put together some incredible stuff. But all of his stuff too. I'm a lover of all kinds of music, and if you haven't figured that out from my live form shows, my live stream shows, my long form shows, I'll get it right. My long form shows, then I'd be surprised. I've got the New Age and instrumental based Celestial Journeys. We've got AM 70s when it's on. We've got Disco Party, Hair Salon. There's a couple more coming. So we'll see what happens. The one reason I haven't done an 80s show is 80s stuff is a bitch to get clear on YouTube. If I do an 80s show, and it's definitely in the books, it'll be on Mixcloud because they get the licensing for you. It'll be exclusive to Mixcloud because I won't be able to clear everything on YouTube. And I'll probably do one for the 90s eventually too. I have soundtrack one and a theme oriented one coming shortly. In any case, I hope you've enjoyed this rambling mess down memory lane. And I would love to know if you check out any of these albums. I mean, because these albums are important to me. All of these albums. They're not just favorites. These albums are classed in another class. They are the top of the class. And that goes for, City and Hanson, as well as the Jesse Kench and the Lucas Graham and the Remy Shand. Dawn, check out Remy Shand. You will like him. I guarantee it. You will like him. I will be damn surprised if you don't. Um, there's a lot of great stuff out there, and I'll be bringing more different stuff to different topics on this show, and I'll be talking about more stuff and reviewing stuff, classic and new, both on the Kirkham Report and on my Substack channel in print. And I urge you to check that out and subscribe over there. I haven't got anything but the introductory up yet. There'll be more coming. And I hope you've enjoyed this. I enjoy hearing from you. Yeah, I had a feeling. I'm telling you, Don, you'll like him. Um, there is some great artists that I'll share with you over the years, and I hope you'll share with me too. You can email me. My address is in the show notes. You can leave a comment on this show. You can come in and chat when we're here live, and I will get to know you that way, and we can exchange music. And I add stuff to my list because I'm reviewing one album new recommended by Paste or Rolling Stone, and one album new to me recommended by Vinyl Community on every show of the Kirkham Report when the new one gets going. So stick around. I just want to tell you, check out my channel, the Kirkham Report, TKR Video Central on YouTube, where you're watching this. If you're not, if you might be on Twitch or Facebook, that's great. Come over to YouTube and check out TKR Video Central. I have new stuff up nearly every day of the week. And I have a brand new channel, TKR Chart Zone, where my chart shows are being simulcast to. And I'm also doing some original fun list stuff. So please come over and check that out. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. If you can, don't forget to support us. You can pick up shirts and stuff in our swag shop. You can join us on Patreon, or you can make a donation on Ko-Fi. So I'd really appreciate that. I will be back here in 7 days and throughout the week on all my other shows. And until then, I want to thank you for joining me. I'm TC Kirkham, TKR Video Central and TKR Chart Zone, and the Kirkham Report. Wishing you all a wonderful week, and I will see you on the interwebs. As they say every show, ciao, baby.